Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to the final episode of Conquering the Depths. This is the series where I'm trying to beat the Nita campaign on its hardest difficulty. If you haven't seen the first episodes, I will find you. There is a link to the whole playlist in the description. Go watch those videos first, or you'll probably be more confused than Seif during the recruitment test. And anyways, assuming you do actually know what's going on, and where we left off, let's get back into it. So after all the optimization and building of infrastructure at the end of the last episode, I had an absolutely ridiculous 5 million plus materials ready for use. And so I obviously felt pretty damn confident about the war to come. So I just pressed this little button right here and bam, instant council meeting. However, this time my choices are a lot simpler than last time. So normally any other plebeian trying to fight every faction at once would just pick all-out war, which, well, declares an all-out war, big surprise. However, taking advantage of my extremely large and heavily wrinkled brain, I chose this option. War with every remaining faction except the White Flares, which you may notice is not actually an all-out war. Here's the thing though, I can just take the White Flares bribe first, and then I can manually declare war on them later. Gets me the same end result, but with a whole lot of extra cash. And so now, boys, after almost half a year, it's finally time for the war to end all wars. Before we go any further, it's time for another quick faction review for the 5 groups I'm now at war with. White Flares is a brutal, theocratic nation that just loves to skin people alive. They use a variety of crafts ranging from relatively normal battleships to buzzsaw submarines and all the way to suicide crafts armed with nuclear warheads. I'd generally recommend keeping your distance and using advanced cannons with APHE or Sabo rounds, particle accelerator cannons or lasers, or any other similarly hard to dodge weapon systems that can get past interceptor missiles and a good sea whiz. The Twin Guard are probably the weirdest faction with the widest variety of weaponry and design motifs. Plasma, APS, PAC, cram, lasers, missiles, torpedoes, ropes, lamp oil, bombs? You want it? It's yours, my friend. The best counter to the Twin Guard is a big gun shooting at their core unit, because they do employ drones. Also, watch out for a mech called the Alarmed. It's a heavily armored hovercraft that literally just spams nukes, tipped with drills that will dig into your craft before detonating. It is very, very lethal indeed. The Steel Striders are basically if you took the United States military and dropped them into the loosened physics of From the Depths. Most of their crafts are pretty conventional and basic, but very well designed and lacking clear weaknesses, much unlike another faction I know. If you want to fight them, you'll have to either min-max hard into damage for killing them as fast as possible, or try to beat them at their own game. The main trick is to keep your guns functional longer than theirs and disable theirs as fast as possible. The Grey Talons are a group of airborne tribespeople with a massive 5 fortresses that you have to take out. They love heavy armor, huge guns, and hovering directly above your craft to shoot a doom cram directly into its citadel. The best defense against them is a good offense, because no amount of armor can save you from an ICBM. The most effective weapon system against them is absolutely plasma. Now this is because it has a huge advantage against the stacked heavy armor they love to use, and since all their crafts fly, none of them are ever going to be underwater, so you don't have to worry about that damage fall off. Just make sure your turrets can aim straight up, please. Last but not least, the Scarlet Dawn, the final boss of this campaign. If you wanted a faction that fits the stereotype of some nerd with a spreadsheet min-maxing their loadout to be as meta as possible, these are the not-quite aliens for you. If you want to beat them, you'll need to use all of the knowledge and resources you've gained from your campaign so far, because these guys don't go down without a fight. So being the aspiring Bond villain that I am, I drew up some relatively simple plans for world domination. First of all, much like last episode, I'll be setting up fleets near any enemy resource collectors on my borders. Second, Once those harvesters have been dealt with, all allied forces in a region will converge on a single tile to push the most efficient path towards the enemy's main fortresses. They will carve a path of destruction through any enemy resistance and annihilate whichever fortress they've been sent to destroy. From there, the fleet can either join up with the next fortress-killing fleet, or I'll scrap them to add their materials back to my coffers. I've also decided to use the prototypes that I field-tested last episode to safeguard my own territory, given their speed and lethality. And with an official duty given to them, they also clearly need an official name and showcase. So I present to you the Radiance-class hovercraft, armed with a single super heavy laser cannon that fires incredibly concentrated pulses of energy capable of penetrating any armor to destroy the high-value components deep within enemy crafts. She is capable of speeds up to 70 meters per second, using interceptor missiles and resurfacing from below the waves if she happens to fall into the sea. Okay, one final note. I've gone ahead and officially named all of my battle fleets, so let's just go through those real quick. First off is the Widowmaker fleet, and these are the ships that'll be going after the Twin Guard and Steel Striders. It includes 1 Jupiter pocket battleship, 2 Artemis battle cruisers, and 1 Radiance hovercraft, which we just discussed. The second fleet will be known as the Crusaders, and this one will be targeting the White Flares specifically. It's made up of 1 Jupiter and 5 heavy bombers. For the time being, I've split the Crusaders up into 2 teams, and this is so that the bombers can deal with a resource harvester before rejoining the Jupiter closer to the front. Lastly but not least, the Destiny Manifestors, meant for the many tribes of the Great Talons. It's made up of 2 Smidgen patrol boats and 1 Apollo-class plasma battleship, armed with 3 single-barrel plasma cannons, 12 large high-explosive missiles, and 1 Seaways gun I totally didn't rip out the Megalodon. This 800,000 material ship excels at dealing with heavy armor, making it perfect for fighting the Great Talons. And now, the stage is set, my fleets are in their places, and my plan is ready to be executed. All that remains is to give the word, so let's get this show on the road, shall we? Begin! Alright, so we're a few battles into the war, and so far, everything's looking pretty good. Enemy harvesters have been destroyed, my own territory is mostly protected, and my fleets have grouped up and begun pushing their way into enemy territory. However, the enemy is obviously not just going to sit back and let us steamroll over them, so I'll need to remain vigilant and deal with any counterattacks with extreme prejudice. I ended up making a few minor improvements to the Radiance, like removing a LAMS node from the front of the craft and adding some repair bots and redundant laser transmitters to account for battle damage. I also made some off-screen technical improvements to some of my older ships, and so with those upgrades, my fleet is now more lethal than it's ever been. And oh look, some willing test subjects. Sick 'em. Okay. I've been fighting a lot of battles so far. Surely I've made some kind of a dent in the enemy's forces by now, right? Right? Well, shit. I guess that's just what happens when 30% of the world economy tries to fight the other 70. Either way, it's no matter. They can take some miscellaneous tiles here and there if they want to, so long as I can protect my harvesters. The plan remains unchanged. I'll keep pushing for their fortresses, and cut the heads off each and every one of these damn serpents, ushering in a new era of world peace, no matter how many ships I have to sink to get there. Fucking hell. That was brutal. To recap, I just lost the entire Widowmaker fleet in a single battle against this fucking bastard. Also lost several more territory tiles and have barely pushed any further into enemy territory because these battles are taking place about 30 seconds apart from each other, so barely any actual time is passing in the campaign. Unfortunately for my enemies, though, you could say this was all a part of my master plan. And what plan is that, you might be asking? Well, the plan to give you a good story that's a bit more tense and then I steamroll the enemies with a 5 million material battleship, of course. You see, I've been holding something back from you. I'm not actually in any danger, in spite of how it may seem, because I have a very special ace up my sleeve. An ace that weighs 4.5 million pounds, costs 2 million materials, and can go toe-to-toe with the toughest crafts in the game and come out on top. Now you might think that's a big ace. Personally, I think that's a hell of a sleeve. And now my hand is shown, my trump card is on the table, and my enemies are ready to be wiped off the face of Neater. You might have thought me surrounded, but to me, that just means I can skip the aiming. Oh boy, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to show this ship off. My pride and joy, my magnum opus, my big lad. This ship is the current culmination of all of the skills and knowledge I have in this game, and it basically boils down to spamming a crapload of missiles and a big laser defense system.
Anyways, this is a big ship with a lot of systems, so let's get down to business.
This is a roughly 1-to-1 scale replica of the USS Zumwalt class of stealth destroyers. Its most prominent weapons are two 500mm APS cannons that feature a wide variety of shell types that you can choose to equip with this helpful little panel right here on the bridge. However, the real firepower is all under the hood. The Zumwalt has an absolutely inane number of missiles, coming in at 165 total launcher blocks.
The large silos carry a mix of high explosive and EMP warheads, along with a vertical launch HE torpedo variant. I'd recommend saving the different configurations so that you can easily swap between them depending on your enemy.
Secondary systems include a hidden laser turret that is totally present on the real Zumwalt, two 100mm Seawiz turrets,
Firing kinetic shells,
a mostly customized interior for the superstructure, a resource gatherer that comes out of the rear door, and 4 F-35 replica drones to augment combat capabilities.
Building the F-35s was a bit tedious, to be honest, because trying to make a smooth shape in a block-based game makes me want to get a lobotomy. But I think they actually came out pretty good in the end. Well, unless you count the constant floundering around. This ship is available on the Steam Workshop right now, if you want to go check it out. Feel free to use it for whatever you want to, even videos, so long as you credit me and send me a link. Also,
If you want to check out or use some of the other ships I've featured in this campaign, let me know in the comments and I'll put them on the workshop as well.
but for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid this is where I must leave you. Just getting this much stuff put together took me, a rather long time, so I really can't be bothered to put off posting this episode any longer. That's right, there will be a part 4 in this 2-part series. My apologies, I just could not help myself but do a bunch of wacky shit in the final part of this campaign, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching my shit-ass video, and thank you for getting this far if you're hearing this, but for now, good night.